Okay. So first of all, I just want to welcome everybody. My name is Chris Sander, and I'm the Contract Unit Supervisor for Human Services. We have lots of new people on today. We just made a change, so we moved the sending of this agenda out from Paul, our contract coordinator, to Cindy, our contract clerk. And Cindy is just more in tune with the people that get the contracts and or adding other people to the list. So we've expanded the list significantly. And so I just want to kind of go through, this is a meeting that we have 3 times a year for those of you that are new. And we have these meetings in March, July, and November of every year. The November one, we usually cover the budget for the next year. And then we also have breakout sessions for our Comprehensive Community Services, CCS funding, and our Children's Long-Term Support Waiver, CLTSW funding. If you don't receive that funding, we put those at the end of the agenda. And so feel free to jump off whenever you feel that it doesn't apply. We try to do all of the general announcements, information, presentations in the beginning. And then we try to do the CLTS because some vendors are that, but not CCS. And then we do the CCS at the end, usually is how the meetings go. And so, like I said, feel free to jump off if that doesn't apply to you. Feel free to stay on and listen if it doesn't apply, but you're still interested in the information that's being shared. So I just kind of wanted to give a general overview of the meeting just because we do have a lot of new people on. Also, if there's somebody in your organization that maybe you're not the right person to get the invitation to this meeting. So if you're at this meeting today and you would like additional people in your organization to be invited, just email me those names and we can get them invited next time. And also, if you just feel like you're not the right person, but somebody else should be that person, let me know that too, and we can take you off the list. So, so I just wanted to kind of do a general overview of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and do introductions. And what I'll do is, our director's having problems getting on, so we'll see. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we'll do introductions internally first, and then what I'll do is I have a list of vendors that RSVP'd, and I'll go through that list. And if you're with that vendor, if you could just kind of introduce yourself, and then let us know if your agency has any announcements. If there's any announcements that your agency might have something coming up, new information you might have that you want to share with other vendors or the community, this is an appropriate place to do that. So, so first of all, again, my name is Chris Sander and I'm the Contract Unit Supervisor, and I know that we have Paul on the line too with the Contract Unit. If he could introduce himself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Paul Mettinger. I'm the Contract Coordinator for Human Services.
And then I know we have a bunch of ISRS staff, so maybe we'll have them go next.
Hi, I'm Emily Engling. I'm one of the supervisors within the Comprehensive Community Services Program.
Hi, I'm Shelly Tollefson. I'm one of the supervisors in the Children's Long-Term Support Unit working with the waiver program.
Angie Welch, I'm the other supervisor in the Children's Long-Term Support Waiver Program.
Ryan Ross, I am one of the supervisors in the CCS Comprehensive Community Services Program.
Ellen Daubert, I am also one of the supervisors in the CCS program.
I'm Christy Harold. I'm a QA supervisor for ISRS.
I think that might be everybody internally. Okay. Is there anybody else internally? All right. I alphabetized the vendors. We'll see if I can still do that. And it's been a long time since I've alphabetized. So, Almost Family, LHC Group. Is there anybody on with that? Active.
Good morning. I'm Lisa Duncanson. I'm a Director of Services for Aptive. We operate out of our office here in La Crosse and also in Black River Falls.
And Kyle Hungerl, Youth Services Manager for Aptive.
Okay, and I did just get something from Carla Campion that she was unable to connect, but I don't know if she was able to get on. Give her a chance from Attic. Okay. Anybody from Black on?
Yes, hello everybody. I am Shundell Spivey, the Executive Director for Black Leaders Acquiring Collective Knowledge. And in terms of announcements, you say we can do that here.
Yep.
Kicking off Friday, we're going to roll out our May 7th Black and Gold Party, as well as December 4th, we're going to be starting our Kings of Nia, which is a young Black men's group kickoff event. And then in January, we're going to start moving with some curriculum, as well as in January, we'll be kicking off our Black girls group. So if you know any teens, middle through high school, that would be interested, let me know.
I know I saw Nicole from Brave Spaces.
Hi, I'm Nicole Millerin, and let's see, announcements is we were Infinity Training and Consulting, and then we opened our own agency on June 1st. We also are going to start an all-girls group for girls in CCS, and that'll start in the first part of the year. And expanding, adding some more clinicians probably in May. So pretty excited about that.
Thank you. Okay, anybody from Cholita?
Yeah, Emily. I am Director of In-Home Supports with Cholita. I guess a couple announcements. We've started doing SIB shops again. So those are just an opportunity for siblings ages 7 to 12 of kiddos with disabilities to come, and it's just kind of like a peer group for them. We have a certified SIB shop facilitator, and so we've been doing those once a month. We're not going to do one for December, but we'll start them back up in January.
Okay. Chippewa River Industries.
Hi, I'm Amanda with CRI. I don't have any announcements.
And I'm Sharon with Chippewa River Industries. I'm the Regional Services Manager.
Okay, next is Comfort Keepers.
Hi, I'm Taylor Hermeyer, and I work with Comfort Keepers. I'm the operations manager out of the La Crosse area.
Okay, Corporate Guardians, formerly Corporate Guardians of Northeast Wisconsin.
Hello, I'm Kay Schrader with Corporate Guardians. Chris kind of made one of our announcements. Thank you. We recently went through kind of a rebranding and name change from Corporate Guardians of Northeast Wisconsin to Corporate Guardians because we have we have offices throughout the state now. So the Northeast Wisconsin isn't really an accurate depiction of who we are. And I believe that we have our program manager on the call, as well as Caitlin Christie. She is a Guardian of Person representative out of the La Crosse office. So hopefully they are both on. There might be a couple other stragglers here too. So hopefully they can jump in and say hello.
So I am Caitlin Christie, and I am a Guardian of Person representative, and I have my office in La Crosse. So.
Okay. Driftless Job Finder.
Oh, Ellen, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, try that again. I'm Ellen Clayson. I'm the owner operator of Dripless Job Finder. Our office is located in Westby, Wisconsin. I do individual skill development and employment services for Vernon, Crawford, La Crosse, Monroe counties, and in the process of going to be starting Richland too.
Great. Essential skills.
Yes, hello, that's me. My name is Bill Humphrey. I'm the sole proprietor of Essential Skills Peer Support, and I do wellness management, independent living skills. My background is in wilderness therapy, and so lots of my work with adults and young adults is using outdoor education and experiential education. I'm located in, but I do contract with the surrounding counties. No announcements for me.
Thank you. Family and Children's Center.
I'm Ann McDonald. I'm the CFO at Family Children's Center.
I feel like Mary was maybe going to join us.
I know she was trying, but I don't know if she's on quite yet.
All right. Family Works.
Hi, my name is Katie Christian. I'm the Vice President at Family Works. We've got a Ladysmith office and a Madison office and have licensed foster parents and respite providers throughout the state. And I'm on the call to hear more about CLTS information because we've got a lot of providers that help kids on the waiver with respite.
Fixed Fitness. Blocks Guardians.
I'm Doug Flock, and Kim Johnson, my business partner, and Renee Quillman, I believe, is upstairs on her computer. Just here checking out all of the new changes.
Okay. Flying Horse.
Morning. I'm Lisa Carmichael with Flying Horse, doing the equine services for wellness management and independent living skills. Thank you.
Thank you. Race Counseling. Independent Living Resources. Innovative Services.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Hudson, Western Regional Administrative for Innovative Services. Also stand as our youth coordinator for our youth services as well.
Lakeview.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jertson, Community Living Supervisor for the Lakeview Assisted Living Campus. We have no updates at this time.
And I'm Jenny Briseno. I'm the new financial manager here at Lakeview.
Mastering Life Skills.
Stacy Masters here. So skills worker, and what is new with us is I will actually be hiring my first staff in January, so that's super exciting. We're going to be adding a therapeutic recreation specialist to the team that is also bilingual. So I'm looking forward to bringing some new skills.
Great. Mayo.
I don't know if anyone else is on. Hospitalization program. For announcements, I am very sick of COVID. The other announcement I have would be our transitions program is currently being remodeled, and around the first of the year, we expect to be able to go back to our full capacity of 18 patients.
Great, thank you. I think you are the only one on for mail. Midwest Corporate Guardians?
Yeah, I'm Ted Wiedenbeck. I'm the La Crosse County Supervisor for Midwest Wisconsin Corporate Guardianship.
Thank you. My Place of Mind? Okay, New Horizons?
Good morning, I'm Ann Kapoff, Executive Director of New Horizons Shelter and Outreach Centers. Wow, where am I from today? Good morning, everyone.
New Visions Wilderness?
Good morning. I'm Amy Drash. I'd like to tell you what I do here, but I don't know what I do today. It's so many different jobs I'm doing. Currently, I'm an HR director, and I work with Rebecca Doyle, who's our business development director. I know we've got many updates. Looking forward to working with La Crosse still. We've been around for almost 15 years. And yeah, I've been here for 11, so I'll pass it over to Rebecca.
Good morning. I'm Rebecca Doyle. I'm the Business Development Director, and I also work in admissions. So I work really closely with Amy on making sure that those contracts are all taken care of before students are coming in. And certainly folks can reach out directly if they have any questions about students or processes. Like I said, Amy and I work kind of hand in hand to make that all happen.
Okay. Paquet Therapy? Peace of Mind?
I'm Jay Clark with Peace of Mind Counseling. We have offices in La Crosse, Black River Falls, and Sparta, and most of the area school districts and school buildings. And Chris Kuhl is on here too, I believe. So I'm not sure if Chris wants to introduce himself.
Yeah, I can introduce myself too. So Chris Cole, I'm a clinician with Peace of Mind Counseling as well. I guess in terms of updates, I don't really know. We have a few different groups, a DBT group and a role play group that are, continuing to accept referrals ongoing throughout the year, as well as our functional family therapy program. I guess most of you probably don't even know this program, but the IFES program, which was a program in conjunction with La Crosse County that we were running, is coming to a close at the end of December. So that is something we will no longer be providing. And I guess another thing that's sort of on the horizon, things to look out for, I guess, in the coming year. So a group of us at Peace of Mind have been working with Shondell from Black, as well as the La Crosse Community Foundation, working to establish an endowment for a master's level or a master's program, counseling program for those in the BIPOC community. So that's something that is in the works, and we'll be continuing to look to partner with other agencies and individuals in the community to build that. So that's out there as well.
Anyone from Rite of Passage? How about Saint A?
Hi, this is Julie Scott from St. A. I'm the NMT supervisor. I supervise the clinicians that provide the NMT assessments here in the Milwaukee area. We also provide the assessments in the Northeast, Northwest areas. And an update for us would be that we are changing our name to WellPoint Care Network. in January, so hopefully we have some communication on that. And then we're also doing more implementation and have some more availability and I think some changes for our contracts in 2022 for the ongoing support, psychoeducation, and implementation. Thanks.
Thank you. Siemens? Didn't think I saw anybody on for that. Stein?
Good morning, I'm Krista O'Brien, Stein Counseling CFO.
Trailways?
Hi, Angie Grogan from Trailways. I'm a partner and director of operations. Couple announcements. We just signed a lease on an office in Wanakee, so we're really excited to open up our Dane County office. And then we have a group that we're going to offer to the RIC region, so that's being worked on right now. We're looking at a couple, but the first one we have planned is a girls group for transition and life skills around the 17 to 21-year-old range. So more to come soon on that for our CCS consumers. And then I shared last time that we're working on a web application to create a better process for our CCS billing. So that's coming along really well. So I'll keep you all posted on that.
Thank you. Viroqua Nutritional Counseling?
I'm Laura Mathis. I'm the dietitian with Viroqua Nutrition Counseling. I don't have any announcements.
Thank you. Youth Villages?
Hi, I'm Lydia Nix in the contracts department with Youth Villages, and we don't have any announcements. I think my assistant director's on.
Hi, yes, Pam Pierce with Youth Villages, Assistant Director of Contracts. We mainly do PRTF for the county. Oh, sorry.
All right, YWCA.
I'm Karen Knox with the YWCA as a business manager, and no announcements here either.
Is there anyone that I may have missed?
Hi, I'm Carla Campion with Attic Correctional Services. No announcements or updates here.
I'm Olivia Lee with Catholic Charities Community-Based Services Program and Live By program. And I also have our new staff, Heather Skills Worker, sitting in with us.
Allison Ilstrup, and I'm the Director of Family
I'm
Support
Jason.
Programs at the Parenting Place. And we have offices in La Crosse and Monroe counties, and then service surrounding counties as well.
I'm Jason Lenz from Strides Equestrian Therapeutics Center. And an update for us is we are currently starting a veterans program. We'll be bringing in veterans to work with the horses. And then we're also starting a program for CLTS where we're bringing in teens to work with the younger kids for mentoring and peer support.
I'm Shelby Neubauer. I am the coordinator over at VARC Child and Youth Services in La Crosse. I believe my supervisor, the program manager, Jenny Getter, is also on this call, but I think she's with a kiddo, so I don't think she's going to chime in. But we have Child and Youth Services in Viroqua, La Crosse, and in Reedsburg.
Samantha here from Horse Sense. Announcement for us, we just launched our holiday donation match campaign. So all gifts made now up to $15,000 will be doubled for our therapeutic horseback riding program.
Anyone else? Okay. Oh, not quite sure the screen. I think somebody had requested control or something, and I think I tried to get it back. Let's see. Trying to figure out what I need to do here. Well, there's a lot of people on. That is awesome. Oh, it looks okay now. Okay, let's hope. And so next on our agenda, we have Jason Witt, and hopefully he can share a screen if he needs to do that for his PowerPoint, or we'll figure out how to do that. And I know he missed introductions. He was having problems getting in, so.
Well, I made it, Chris, and I think everything's going okay technically. So, hey, it's good to see everybody. I'm glad to be here, and just wanted to take the opportunity to share with all of you what's in store for our human services budget for 2022. And, you know, with that, we'll say the budget that was just recently passed by the county board, we're pretty excited about in terms of it has a lot of opportunities for us to better be able to meet community need. In that sense, we'll say it's a little bittersweet in the sense that we are having some additional resources come our way because the community needs so high in a lot of areas, and that certainly we don't like to see. But to be able to be supported and being there for the community, and also to be able to move closer to some strategic goals that we have is pretty exciting for us. So I'm going to try to now share my screen. I do have a PowerPoint, and I think it's having a little, there we go. Chris, are you able to see that? The opening slide of the PowerPoint there?
I can see it up in my corner. I wonder. Let me see. I can see it, but it's just a small box. Can anybody else see it differently?
It's in my main screen.
Okay.
It's on my main screen too.
Okay. All right. Good. We'll go with it.
Okay. So to kind of walk through some changes, and really going to talk about new positions that are coming to different sections of human services. We'll do a couple of things. First, really want to connect back to how some of the expansion that we're seeing is directly related to strategic goals our department has, and then walk through some additional resources that is coming by section. So first, connecting to those strategic goals and kind of the high level overview of new positions and funding. First, just again, we spent a lot of time in thinking through budget requests to really align to what we see our future as. And with that, really our vision is putting the human back into human services. And what that means is really taking a system that has so many different pieces, so many funding streams and regulations and different way for eligibility that it can seem fragmented at times and impersonal, and really refocusing on the relationship-centered approaches that are the basis really for healing. So putting that human back in human services and knowing as a department to really do that, that's going to require some changes, and that we're going to be brave enough to take on those changes. Sometimes those changes are to longstanding practices. So putting the human back in human services by daring to change the way we care. We know in terms of serving our clients and being there for the community, where we're not in it alone and we can't do it alone. But we are really working alongside our partners and stakeholders in collaboration to do that. So in building a loving and connected community, we're doing that together. And as a department, and going in that direction, things that we're aiming for. And first is, and you'll see within this budget, strengthening prevention and early intervention services. We know that we can be more effective, and also we have the ability to work more flexibly when we're working upstream with consumers to head off what can be more serious issues. And in the past, it took those more serious issues to trigger eligibility and entry to help. We're really trying to shift resources and our ability to help folks earlier. Secondly, improving the integration across our sections. And with that, we're just seeing more and more dynamics, whether it's the growth of issues related to homelessness, substance abuse, dementia, that the impact is really not on our adults or families that we serve in one of our service sections. We're seeing that throughout our service sections, and to be effective then, really needing those integrated approaches. So that integration across our service sections is very important to get better at for us. Third is the deepening relationships and connections with the community. And that's really ensuring that our services are accessible and responsible to the community. And that for us means that we need to be in the community. And there we see a future in terms of how we work and serve clients that is much less from providing services from behind the walls of our county building, our justice center, and more out in the community, in community locations, working alongside our consumers and partner agencies. 4 is being an anti-racist organization. You may well know that our county board has declared racism a public health crisis. Really under that policy direction and with our passion in our hearts, we have a 3-prong approach to how we're taking on this of being an anti-racist organizations, that we're bringing new perspectives and understanding to our work. And we do have a pretty intensive racial justice training that has started in our department that really is required for all of our human services employees. But beyond that new perspective we bring to the work, it's a dedication to relationships throughout our community, so that we're responsive, but also really heavy lifting, as we know there's going to be a lot of system change involved in changing our systems that have far too long perpetuated some of those racial disparities and has contributed to mistrust that we see in the community with government and government services. And then with the issues with homelessness, making sure that we're finding our place and working alongside our partners to address homelessness in our community, knowing that we hold some very important pieces to that puzzle with some of the links to economic support services, mental health services, and substance abuse services. That by no means is an issue one agency can take on with the solution, but we, again, hold some resources that can be helpful there and want to play a very active role in addressing homelessness. And lastly, growing some of the collaborations that we have with some of our other county departments, like the health department and veterans department. So we're not letting the fact that we are separate departments to help us to prevent us from really working in an integrated way to serve the clients that we have in common. So with those strategic goals, as we think through bringing in new resources, those are going to be very much aligned as we see in the 22 budget, both new positions and expansion of positions here in human services. There are 18 new positions for county human services that was approved in the county budget. You see here some of the sections where those positions are going to, and we'll walk through those more in detail. but also some increased financial support and investment for some of our community partners like the Boys and Girls Club and the Parenting Place and some other investments that I'll talk about during the presentation here. So in terms of, we've seen a lot of those new positions coming in. We'll describe where those are going and what services they will be impacting in the department. First, for our economic support services section, does the eligibility for access to Medicaid, food share, child care, and energy assistance. We have 3 new positions coming in. And 2 of those positions are directly going to be, again, not behind the walls of the Human Services Department here, but will be community-based and will be mobile out in the community, where we're currently planning in terms of where the best locations for those positions will be. But we're going to place those, whether it's in a single location, multiple, or mobile, where they can be face-to-face, and enhance the access to economic support service and provide that face-to-face customer service. So it's 2 community-based economic support specialist positions. And then along with that, when we're looking at better integrating services across the sections, we have an ES specialist that will be embedded in our Aging and Disability Resource Center. So we don't have to send folks to another section to be able to access the economic support services. That will be the expertise, and the handoffs will be more right in one place. So 2 community-based ES positions, and then again 1 in the ADRC. And actually it was the ADRC position, and I'll talk about some of the positions in ADRC. Was originally part of our budget. We had an opportunity to add those early, so those actually went through in a budget position in August. So that is economic support services. Next, with our Aging and Disability Resource Services, our ADRC, we also had the opportunity to add these new positions a little bit early in our budget process, and are bringing on board both a supervisor and an ADRC professional. And this is just a response as we're seeing the changing demographics and our population become older. Our workload has increased there. So we're going to be addressing workload issues with the positions, but also knowing very much currently the ADRC is only reaching a fraction of the older adult and disabled population that we know could benefit from access to the services. And outreach is something that this new capacity will allow us to do more of, as well as in enhancing the leadership within the ADRC, being able to be at the table in the community with strategic planning around aging and disability issues. So 2 new positions for the ADRC. And with regards to our ISRS section, there is 11 new positions. So our ISRS section is the largest recipient of expansion and new positions in this budget request, going across 3 areas in ISRS. First, we have 7 positions coming in the Comprehensive Community Support Services and Children's long-term waiver area. And really those positions are there to make sure that we can continue to enroll and serve all of those who are eligible for those services. And demand for those services has grown a great deal in recent years. We have expanded in recent years to keep up with that demand. And that's had a real impact in terms of, if we go back to 2013, in our CCS program, we were serving 43 individuals. Now, latest in 2020, it had gone from 143 to 573. So being able to serve a lot more individuals in need with behavioral health and substance abuse supports, but also in terms of children's long-term waiver. When we go back to 2017 and we're looking at a wait list of 179 families really waiting for those services. And our goal with this, with these new positions as well, has been able to maintain a zero wait list beyond the enrollment period it takes to get into CLTS, but to serve all of those who are eligible in the community and being able to continue to do that with these new positions. And then in our outpatient clinic, being able to really have the capacity catch up to what has been expansion of service of our outpatient clinic in recent years. As we've continued to serve those individuals who may have become MA eligible, but are waiting to access our health systems for services. So during that waiting period, being able to continue to provide services, to recent expansion of services both to the jail and the youth facilities here in the department. So these positions will better help us meet those needs as the scope of the outpatient clinic and services has grown in recent years. And just because the ISRS section has expanded so much, when we look back about 5 or so years, we've added, now it'll be almost 40 positions to that section, are adding a new leadership position in an assistant manager to be able to provide operational oversight of our CCS and long-term care area, but also with the additional leadership resources there to make sure we're able to be in the community alongside our partners, planning for coordination and gap filling in the areas of behavioral health, substance abuse, and disability. So a lot of capacity coming to ISRS, and again, and we're looking at the challenges of capacity, of homelessness, and these other issues, being able to better position ourselves as a department to be at the table to help meet those needs. And then in our justice support services area, 5 new positions coming, and 3 of those positions under our La Crosse area family collaborative. And we are adding a neighborhood social worker to be able to serve the Shoe Homes community, which is part of a collaboration with the school district, with the housing authority, with the Boys and Girls Club, and others. So that is currently forming, but we have the ability to add a neighborhood social worker to the Shoe Homes. Also under LAFC, who has done a lot of work and has developed a lot of expertise in linking to housing resources and to find housing for clients who are in need. There are 2 social workers being added that are specific as housing specialists that will be able to work with the caseworkers across our department who more and more are seeing housing as a barrier to the outcomes that are being sought. So they'll be able to help with those housing connections and hopefully work in tandem to link with other like housing specialists that other agencies have in the community. So that is on the LAFC side. And then for our youth system of care, that was one of those initiatives specifically designed to get upstream from the youth justice system and provide support before youth are formally brought into the youth justice system. There are 2 justice support specialists being added to expand the capacity, both to accommodate the increase in need and referrals that we are seeing from that program, and also as other early intervention approaches to youth crime and also truancy are being developed within the community, be able to respond to the additional demand there. So those 5 new positions in our justice support. Services area. And also in this area is an expansion of our contribution to the Boys and Girls Club to support behavioral health specialists that also see as a more upstream intervention and support within the clubs. We have some funding to continue our regular evaluations of our programming in Justice Support Services as we continuously improve those programs. And then a collaboration with the city of La Crosse that helps make more Section 8 housing vouchers available. So some increased financial support that we're able to provide. In our family and children's services section also is an increase to support for the parenting place to continue the community response programming, which is also an upstream intervention from Child Protective Services, making help available to children and families who are struggling and in need, but also just a lot of work underway strategically in the family and children's area that there'll be activity as we go on through the year more there. And then one position for our administrative area, a gap in our department, has been in the area of professional development. We are adding a professional development coordinator to be able to make sure we have training for our social work staff or frontline staff, and that we have consistent approaches across the department and on how social work happens, on how other frontline supports happen, and being able to continue to embed trauma-informed approaches and other best practice approaches across our department. So a professional development coordinator, along with funding as an upgrade to the next generation of our electronic health and billing system, in our commitment to racial justice training for all of our employees. So when we look across our strategic areas, a lot coming that moves us closer to those, while also better equipping us to provide support to the community. So that is hopefully found a pretty brief run through of a lot of services coming to the department in 2022. And a couple of things that I'll kind of mention in relation to that. We'll see that expansion really happening slowly over the year. All of that capacity won't be here just in January, and that is for a specific purpose. That is a lot of new resources to onboard, and we're really making sure that happens carefully, well thought out, and strategically. Really seeing this as an opportunity, not just to plug new positions into the system as it stands, but really help us leverage our transition to the new ways of showing up for the community. So it will be over time that this will happen, and also with discussion with the community when we're looking at being more out in the community and have physicians to do that. Where is the best to do that? And so we would just encourage everyone, as you may be invited to some of those discussions on how we can best partner. Hope that we would participate in that. We want the maximum impact of these new positions and opportunities. So we'll end there, but we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions for Jason? Okay.
I have one quick one,
yes.
Jason. So with the professional development coordinator position that you're hiring, would you ever consider, so I'm a small business, would you ever consider having the smaller businesses be able to attend some of those trainings for, would you added fee or anything like that? Would you ever open it to any providers, or is that just going to be for service facilitators?
Well, I know what we want to be very tuned into is it's important that across the human service system that we're all, partners in, concepts like trauma-informed care and different practices are both common language that we have and a common way of doing things. So I know when we talk about that position, we really want to be in tune in terms of what community training is, in terms of specific opportunities where that could be a community trainer. It's under development. I'll certainly kind of bring that back to the team for discussion as that position is more developed in the coming months. I'll certainly bring that back. That's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Kind of to add to that, Stacy, there's kind of hidden in all those slides, lots of great information, but within the ISRS section, we also asked for a project specialist within our section that could assist with some things like that for our CCS and providers. That too is kind of in discussion about what that role could look like and how we can use that to better support our vendor network.
Yeah, that would be great, because I miss some of the trainings that, like Ryan, you always offered. There was always something that you would take home, even just a little snippet. And so not having that when COVID hit, it just kind of stinks. Not, also there's always the other trainings that we can attend online and things like that. But it's, it's that person to person, face to face that's in our community that I kind of miss. So.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I would just like to add to that. I agree with Stacy. I would like to get some additional training also. I've been getting some training through Passages and through online services, but having somewhere to go that you could go to these trainings would be an awesome event.
Right.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
This is, sorry.
Thanks, everybody.
I just say, okay, I jump in. So this is Chris Cole with Peace of Mind. I was curious to hear a little bit more about becoming the anti-racist, agency and community service provider, and talking about a couple new positions out in the community. Do you guys have a clear understanding yet of what those positions will be doing, or is that kind of an ongoing evaluation sort of as well? I was curious to hear more about those.
Yeah, well, there were the two ES specialist positions that were specifically community positions. So, those in ES are access to those services like Medicaid and food share and those economic support services. They're designed because they're going to be out in community. Now, where they're going to be, and that's yet to be developed. But I think, overall, when we're talking about a vision of being less behind the walls of human services and more in the community, that definitely expands beyond the new positions, and it really is in development and discussions and more ways that we can do that. You may have seen it kind of in recent years, our LASC positions are not stationed here. We have those in the north side in a church. We have them in a community center on the south side, and also within the neighborhood surrounding Mayo on the south side. So those are out there and really kind of are embedded more in those neighborhoods. We want to be closer and more embedded out there neighbors. Exactly how we do that and what that looks like, that will be a development process, and it goes back to that, creating the trust that we want and being responsive that we want. We know we need better relationships, and we need to be able to communicate more. So more to come in that, and we look forward to discussions that we can have to you, how we can, going forward, how we can best do that.
Thanks.
And Jason, I don't have a question, but I just want to make a comment. This sounds really positive and very holistic. And I've been in human services for a very long time, and it's really nice to see it kind of, you guys taking a leadership role and bringing some of the old values and traditions back, not reinventing, but revisiting things that did work efficiently and with some integrity. So yeah. It looks good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I
Okay,
think we're
great
gonna-
to join you today. Thanks a lot for the
Thanks,
discussion.
Jason.
Bye.
We're going to move on to CLTSW. We have Shelley and Angie on.
Yeah, hi, this is Shelley. We just probably have a couple updates, and then I did hear a couple people say that earlier they might have some CLTS questions, so we can help answer those. The biggest thing, as Jason said, our waiver enrollment continues and our numbers continue to grow, which then causes some problems for having enough vendors to fulfill all the service needs of our youth. And we do meet with vendors periodically, but if anytime you want to specifically meet with us to talk through that, we would be open to having a Teams meeting with you too, as our wait list just continues. So we keep enrolling as we can. Angie, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I don't have anything for the waitlist piece. The other was, I don't know if people are signed up for the DHS memos. They did send out a reminder that as of January 1st, remote places of service will require modifiers when you do the claim. So I will put the PowerPoint or the link in the chat if you missed that piece from the state on how to claim if it has been a remote service.
And then I just had a couple things, just a couple of reminders again for CLTS. If you're doing daily living skills or counseling and therapeutic services, we just need those 6-month progress reports. And I know we've mentioned it at different vendor meetings. Again, if you would like a copy of a template as an example, we could send that out to you as well. And then just as the year ends, we'll have the CLTS training logs due again for staff for training logs. So reach out to us if you have any questions.
This is Ellen. It may sound funny, but what is CLTS? I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
No, that's a good question. It's Children's Long-Term Support Waiver Services.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for CLTS?
Hi, it's Bill. My question would be, what is the age group of the youth that you serve?
Children can be in CLTS from birth through actually age 22. Typically, it's through age 18. If they're not eligible for family care, they can remain in waiver until the day before they're 22. Typically, they age out and go to the adult care system after that, but there is some situations where kids stay in longer. A lot of our kids that we have in the waiver program are duly enrolled in both CCS and CLTS.
Do you have a median age that you serve?
I would say since the wait list enrollment, there is no longer really an average age. We're seeing more and more babies come through, where before, typically when the wait list was long, we didn't get to the youth that were babies after age 3 typically or longer before they enroll. Now we're enrolling more and more under that are actually in the Birth to 3 program, and then they also enroll into CLTS. So a lot more early intervention.
Good.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Any other questions for CLTS? Okay, I think we'll move on to CCS then.
All right. We do have a few agenda items, so I will start with the first one. We wanted to talk through the process for QA vendor documents and just kind of our, not much is changing with it, but just so you all know what we're doing on our end. Okay. Everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So process for QA vendor documents. So I think the first part we just wanted to talk through share around the contract language guidepost. So payment for services. This is a reminder, nothing new in this area, just that to have invoices and progress notes by the 5th of each month, but no later than 60 days from the last day of the month that the services were provided. For the CCS program, payment of bills will be denied permanently unless received 60 days from the last day of the month that the services were provided. So this is just the standard contract language. Our QA expectation then is that our QA staff is starting their initial QA review within 30 days of receiving that. We have around 80 vendors within CCS, so they will get to those by the date. They will process invoices and progress notes by the date received. So the earlier you send them in, the sooner you'll get paid. Prior to the vendor QA, the QA will notify the agency of what personnel documents are missing. So we cannot process an invoice until personnel documents are submitted. QA will move on to the next vendor invoice and will not QA until all the personnel documents are received. If QA sees a pattern in errors after reviewing the first 2 to 5 consumers, the QA staff will email the vendor back the invoice and progress notes and point out themes to the vendor. Vendor is expected to resubmit prior to QA completing the QA process. Some of these examples, it's on invoice not matching progress notes, mathematical errors, possibly with like the time and travel or stop times on progress notes. And then number 4, after 1 week, if the corrections or personnel documents are not received, QA will then CC the agency administration if applicable. And at day 45, QA will email vendor a canned template email letter saying that the payment will be denied if not received by 60 days. So this process, we wanted to just kind of hone in a little bit more around what a clean claim is. And a clean claim is having all of those personnel documents turned in and submitted at the time of the invoice. So that would include the references, background checks, rehabilitation worker training logs, degrees, all of those documents for new staff, new providers, we need to have before we can provide payment to the agency. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see you all. Does anybody have any questions around that? I think the main point, one of the main points is just we wanted to hone in, we wanted to tighten that up a little bit and not have our QA team do so much chasing. It's really the vendor's responsibility to give us the personnel required documents to us. So I think our QA team is wonderful and we love them so much, but we've just grown so much that we can't keep chasing. So I think if you are an agency that might have a lot of back and forth and a lot of errors or a lot of things, communication back and forth with QA on invoices, this would be a good time to kind of look at your process and figure out internally how to kind of tighten that up. So anybody have any questions around that process that we're doing internally?
I think just to add some context, I don't know, I'm a box type person, box and numbers type person. So for those that, kind of to Jason's point, how much the CCS program has grown, I was just pulling up the numbers. We have contracts with 86 agencies, and on paper, our staff roster shows about 1,300 contracted providers. So that's 1,300 background checks, reference letters, degrees that we need copies of. And we know some of them are not with your agencies anymore. Some are new. And it's really hard to keep track of that much paperwork. So again, it's just kind of trying to help tighten up some of this process. So so we can kind of help you get paid. I know our QA team is saying they're reading through about 20,000 plus notes every month from all the vendors. And a common hitch in the process is if staff Sam Smith has a note and Sam Smith doesn't have his provider documents in the Medicaid portal set up, all of Sam Smith's notes get pushed into a to-do box. And then they can easily get lost among 20,000 notes. So we're just trying to clean it up to help things move faster and more smoothly.
Emily, I was wondering if you could send an email out to the vendors, or at least me, about like, I know I've gotten all my paperwork in, but like for the new year starting, you know, the background checks are only every 4 years now, or are they 2? I know that
Every
was
4 years.
Okay, 4 years. Okay, and anything, you know, just to make sure we're up on everything. I would appreciate something like that. That'd be awesome to have that to put up for the new year to see if there's anything I need to update.
Yes, I can say that I could do that for you. I cannot say that I can do that for all of our agencies. That's like Ryan said, there's 1,300 performing providers. So that is part of our CCS coordinator position that we're hoping to tap into a little bit to help with that cleanup. And so when we do have our survey or our audit, I'm not having to chase after anybody and ask for all those things. So, but yes, it's more around a lot of our vendors that have a significant number of providers that sometimes it can get a little a lot to keep track of. So
okay, all right. So then I'm okay. All right.
You're probably okay since you're just one.
Yeah, I'm just
one person. Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure no documents were changed that I didn't know about. You know, this is my first meeting, so I just want to make sure. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yep. And that'll be a good segue into our next point, that all 2021 billing is due by January 31st of 2022. So usually you have that 60 days, but for December, we need to have it in by January 31st because we need to wrap up 2021 billing to submit to Medicaid. So please have your everything in by January 31st. And then a reminder around annual training logs and the clinical supervision logs are also due. If you haven't been turning in your quarterly supervision logs, please make sure to have those in by January, as well as the training logs for all of the providers. Any provider that provided CCS services in 2021, we need a training log for them. So you will start seeing emails come from me just as a general friendly reminder. But if you guys could start working on that, that would be awesome. And again, having those in the beginning of January would be ideal to help with that clean claim process.
Where do we turn those in?
Those can be turned into the same place where you send your invoices. So Perfect. It's yep. All right, any questions on end of year billing invoice processes? All right, Ryan.
I'm gonna jump in and tackle some of the Medicaid reminders and updates. I think just a reminder, with COVID, a lot of people transitioned to telehealth services, and as things changed, we started getting back out into the community some more. And so we noticed some trends that some agencies kind of forgot how to do travel billing because it had been 1.5 years since you had to do that. So just a reminder, if you are doing a in-person face-to-face visit, you can bill travel to Medicaid. On the note itself, if you are claiming travel time, the Medicaid rule is we need to include total minutes traveled and total miles traveled. on the note. During COVID, Medicaid kind of changed their rule that travel can start once you enter your vehicle. Before, there used to be this rule of whichever's closer, your agency or your home or whatever. But just knowing that a lot of people made a transition to work from home or work remotely, that rule changed just a little bit. But I think the big takeaway is as you're getting back out into the community with a direct face-to-face contact, you can build travel time if you claim total minutes traveled and total miles traveled on your progress note. So any questions there?
Ryan, is the policy along with telehealth, where is that headed after the first of the year? Because yes. We know more people with COVID right now than we did a year ago that we were.
So let's segue to that one. Telehealth. Medicaid, Forward Health had shared that they were going to publish a permanent policy October 1st. And we have not seen anything. And Forward Health has stated they have fallen behind on that. Or it's not done yet. They are still deliberating. So we do not have a permanent policy at this point. We are still waiting to hear. The little bit of information that we do have that isn't in writing but has been verbally shared with us is that there's a strong sense that telehealth will be able to continue for all CCS service arrays through a HIPAA-compliant audiovisual platform. So that is a more for sure. So anything like the healthcare Zoom or Microsoft Teams, trying to think, I know there are a slew out there, but something that's HIPAA compliant that you can visually and audibly interact with somebody. I know what they have mentioned is kind of the hangup is they're very much debating audio only and phone calls and where that will land in the permanent policy. So I know that's kind of been the big hangup is kind of what the future of that will look like. But for now, the temporary policy is still in place until a permanent policy is published.
Ryan, it's Renee. I'm wondering if you can tell us if we can anticipate that there would be a decent heads up on when the policy is given and when it's effective, I guess.
Yeah. I know many counties, including us, have requested that of the state. And that is where originally they said the plan was to have a permanent policy published by October 1st, so that at the start of the new year, that would give a 3-way lead time. So I think the hope is still that state would give us a lead time to implement a change like that, knowing that it will be a bit of a shift for many counties and many agencies.
But I'm just sorry, I just want to make sure. So, but currently we can still do phone meetings?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then after the first of the year, it's probably going to go more towards Zoom or Microsoft Team meetings.
The current message we're getting from Forward Health State Medicaid is the temporary policy is active until a permanent policy is published with an effective date. So the original plan was to have that in place by January 1st. We don't have a guarantee that that will happen by January 1st. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Traveling, billing? Well, then I will pass it over to Ellen for some of our clinical updates.
I don't know if Emily, you wanted to start with that first or?
Sure, I can start a little bit here. So we've gone back and forth around this next topic. So if you've heard something from us recently, this is the new information. So we have under the service array psychotherapy, there's the ability for clinical interns to bill Medicaid, bill for psychotherapy. As a CCS program in our region, our previous kind of decision around that was that clinical interns couldn't bill therapy. We felt like there needed to be a difference in that clinical expertise, and we would put the clinical interns under a wellness or a psychoeducation service array versus allowing them to bill for therapy. And after some advocacy from vendors and some for us to just kind of talk through and seeing how things have changed, we are within our region going to open up master level clinical interns to be able to bill for psychotherapy. I think our big piece around that is we want to ensure that vendors are giving consumers and families informed consent, and so that people are aware that the provider is not at a fully licensed therapy position, but they're still in their internship. So I think for us, that's our big piece, that we want to make sure that the service is still going to be at that top tier clinical quality, and requesting that vendors provide that informed consent and choice to the consumers. So yeah, Ellen, anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I think our thinking was that there's just, we realize that there's that good clinical support, around them, that you're providing that with that supervision and that. So, I think we're looking forward, and the need has increased so much that just having those opportunities for those interns to get that up, get that experience in that clinical setting is great. So I think we see that value with that too. So, yeah, any questions in regards to that part? And then I have a little bit more to add. Okay, just another area we've been talking about is just that, just a reminder as vendors, when you are, working with consumers and their teams, and that if you're feeling like there's an additional service or something that the consumer may benefit from as far as in regards to their mental health, work that they are doing with you or with others, is that maybe making sure to reach out to the facilitator if you're thinking another service might be beneficial. So if you reach out to the facilitator, then they have that conversation with their mental health practitioner to kind of look to see that clinical need and that appropriateness for, based on the already services that are on the plan supporting that consumer. Because that just making sure that we're not crossing over somewhere with a service that's already being provided, and also just really assessing that clinical need. So they will review that as well, and then have a conversation as a team in regards to any of those next steps. So any additions that you're thinking prior to maybe talking to the consumer directly about it, having that conversation with the facilitator, and they'll take it back to the MHP. I think that's it.
Okay, any questions for CCS staff? I do want to say that I know I've had at least one vendor looking for their contract, so we are working really hard on, Paul and I are trying to get, we have agency-wide, we have about 3,000 lines of service that we need to get into contracts over the next month or so, and we are down to about 2,300 now, so we're working really hard at that. And we are decreasing that somewhat for CCS because I reiterated this in the skills and wellness, med management, and also psychotherapy emails to everyone, but we are changing the way the contract looks a little bit to take out all of the degrees for staff. So bachelor, master, RW used to be in the contract. We still need that in our Avatar system that we use to actually turn around and bill Medicaid, and we still need you as providers to bill that way. In all of the degrees, we need all of that information. But in our contract, you will only see one line for all different degrees. So you'll see individual skills, individual skill development. You'll also see service planning and travel. We'll have separate lines, but you won't have, if you have 4 different degree levels, you won't have 4 times the amount of lines. So the contract should look a little less confusing. But just to reiterate that we are changing the way we're contracting, but that doesn't mean that we can change the way that you bill us or that we're turning around to bill Medicaid. So it'll just help the contract not have so many lines in it. So that's one change that I know Paul is taking on for all of the CCS, is he's working on getting all of those correct in the contract. So be patient with us. But if you don't get your contract like within 2 weeks, maybe mid-December, feel free to reach out to me and make sure that we have everything on our end that we need to get the contracts out to you. But you should be getting a lot of those out. We put in all the lines of service, and then Cindy puts it into a contract document and gets approval. So things are going smoothly, but there's just a lot of it this year. So is there any other questions, general questions that anybody has?
Hey, Chris, we just wanted to quick clarify around clinical interns, just that clinical interns and individuals with their in-training license do need to work within a certified outpatient clinic to be able to bill Medicaid for that. So just wanted to clarify that piece.
I also wanted to go back to the chat. St. A has said that they do offer a few trainings in there for anyone that might be interested. They are across the state and in virtual. It doesn't look like they're doing it virtually, but they did offer that. Angie put in a link, so for anybody that hasn't seen the chat. And then I know Shelley looks like Angie was. Looks like Angie at Trailways was looking for a CLTS template. So I just wanted to kind of call those out in the chat. Is there anything else?
So just to clarify, Emily, so if I hire, well, and Chris, if I hire someone with a master's degree, I'm not a clinician state business. So what I would do is I would still pay him at the skills rate that I currently get paid at, correct? Okay, just want to double check.
Any other questions? So the next vendor conference is on March 8th at 10 a.m. We will send the agenda out towards the middle to end of February. If you want to be on the list of people that get the agenda and you weren't before, let me know. I know I had a few people reach out to me. We're always updating that list and trying to make it better. So we do send the agenda out and ask you to RSVP for the link so that we can you. And if there's if there's anybody else in your organization that you think we should send it to that we're not already, please let me know that too. And we will see you on March 8th. Thank you.
Thank you.